It's time to get inside the Giants huddle.
Let's go, back to your huddle.
On Giants.com.
Tempo.
And the Giants mobile app.
Go.
Part of the Giants podcast network.
Hey.
Welcome to the newest edition of the Giants Huddle podcast. Today's guest is Giants pass rusher Quincy Roche. But first, a reminder, you can find the Giants Huddle podcast at Giants.com/podcast, the Giants mobile app, and all your favorite podcast platforms. And if you know friends that are Giant fans, tell them about the podcast. It's the best way to grow these things and get more listeners. Now we're joined by our guest. He is Giants pass rusher and defensive end / edge player, Quincy Roche. It's funny, you laugh, but it's really not that simple, these classifications anymore, right?
Yeah. I would just classify every edge guy as an edge guy.
That's what I like, too, by the way. I prefer that as well. So let's kind of start there. Do you prefer hand in the dirt, or do you prefer standing up? What do you like?
I've done them both ways throughout my career, so I really don't have a preference. Sometimes I feel like I get better vision standing up, but sometimes I feel like I want to get off and I want the power of a three-point stance, so it really depends on what I see and what I feel most comfortable with.
And is it also dependent on what they're asking you to do on a play as well?
Yeah. So, but even then, even if I'm dropping, I don't want to always drop from standing up.
Yeah, because they can telegraph it, right?
Exactly. So now sometimes, so really, it depends on how I feel most comfortable to execute my technique.
You do think you get a better get off though from that 3-point stance if you want to flat out rush?
So a lot of coaches tell me I do, yeah. So yeah. Because I feel better standing up, but the coaches tell me I'm better off from a 3-point, which is why I've been in a 3-point.
You talk about standing up and you get better vision, right?
Yeah.
Why is that valuable to you, being able to get that vision when you're trying to get after the quarterback? Is it reading play direction, or is it just keeping eyes on the quarterback?
Right. It's all about just gathering as much information as possible. I'm able to look at the tackle, so now I'm able to tell if it's run or pass. I'm able to look at the splitter and running back, so that helps me just confirm my keys. If it is a pass, I'm able to see if it's just chipper coming in. Just a number of things. It's just I'm able to collect data, and the more data that I can collect, the better off that I could play.
No, that makes sense. Going back to your college days, I remember watching you. Do you feel more comfortable rushing off right end right now than left end? Because I feel like you've probably been on the right side probably a lot more dating back to your college and high school years, right?
That's a good question. So I try to force myself in practice to be on the left side, because against the Chiefs, I had to be on the left side.
Correct, right.
So I try to always work on it. I prefer the right side, but I'm fully prepared to put it on the left side if I have to.
What's the big change for a pass rusher or an edge guy when you're going from the right to the left?
It really shouldn't. It's not like offense where it's like two whole entirely different techniques. 10 times out of 10, it should be 10 times out of 10. Anytime you're working your moves, you should work them on the left side and the right side. So when that comes up, because somebody might get hurt, or
of course,
you might have to switch based upon what your coaches wanted. So you always got to be prepared to go left and right.
Let's talk about that big play you had to wrap up the game against the Raiders last week. Take me through the play. What did you see pre-snap, and then how did you get past Colton Miller, who really is one of the top left tackles in football?
Right. So it was a play that we ran before, and when we gave that look before, we had ran a twist with it. It was a great job by Reggie by capturing the guard and capturing the tackle's eyes. In his mind, I haven't seen anything, but I'm just going to go ahead and guess he was assuming that we were going to run a game, which is why he was heavy on the inside, and he just lost the edge.
Yeah, because you're right. Because watching it didn't seem like he got that kick that he usually got going outside. Right?
He was anticipating us running the game, and I kind of knew that it was the same look. And in my mind, I was just thinking, just beat him to the spot.
Now, there are two parts of that play that I want to talk about specifically with the technique. First is your hands, right? Because he tries to get his hands on you. You do the double swipe. You knock him off. Is that something that you're really trying to work on to improve as a pass rusher?
Yeah, it's a really good move. It's one of the moves in my toolbox. But yeah, that's one of my moves that you'll probably see going forward that I've used in the past.
And then, of course, you have to win with the hands first. But then you still have to bend the edge, right? Because if he runs you outside past the quarterback, Carr can step up and still make a throw. Yeah. But you managed to use that. They call it the ankle flexibility, right? To stay up and bend, to get to that quarterback. Joe Judge talked a lot last week about how he's been working with a lot of guys, and his huge focus all the time is on the fundamentals, and they run that hoop drill in practice, right? Is that something that you guys are constantly working on to be able to get that flexibility in your ankles, to get that bend to finish those plays?
It's something we do just about every day. But I just did it today. So it's something we do often. That definitely helps me and my technique. It helps the team. I just feel like it helps this group overall. But it's definitely something we work on every day.
How important is that bend for an edge guy to try to turn those outside rushes
huge.
into sacks?
It's huge because you can win with the hands all you want. You can be the one to get off all you want. But if you don't finish at the top of the rush and turn that corner, you'll never get there, especially not in this league.
Yeah, and by the way, you also overcame a holding penalty in that play too, by the way.
Yeah.
Excellent play. So how have you ingratiated yourself into the system so quickly, right? You were with Pittsburgh in the offseason. You didn't get here till the start of the year. I think your first game played was week 3, right, if I'm not mistaken. So how has it been absorbing everything they've thrown at you where now you're playing, 50, 60 defensive snaps a game?
It wasn't easy. I got to give a big thanks to the guys in my room, Zoe, Z's, X, Nico, Trent. They all played a hand in making sure that I received the information. A lot of it when I first got there was just asking them, wait, do I do it this way? Do I do it that way? So it definitely wasn't easy learning the playbook. I still want to learn everybody's job. So I'm still working. But it took a few weeks.
How much is the technique and what they're asking you to do different from what you worked on in Pittsburgh for the first 6 months of your NFL career, or is it mostly a language change that you have to get used to?
Two completely different systems. Two completely different systems. But one thing that's helped me is in college I played in 4 different systems. I had 4 different head coaches, 4 different defensive coordinators. So between that, I've played just about any type of defense that you could. I mean, it's not but so much the football. I played just about any type of defense that you could think of. Both. And one that was very similar. My junior year at Temple is very similar to this defense right here. I've done it before. I've seen it before. It wasn't brand new, but it definitely took some adjusting. And I just give a big shout out to the guys in my position room for just guiding me through it and helping me.
I'm interested. You say these systems are completely different. When you say they're that different, is it mostly the language you're talking about, or even the technique, your responsibility? 1 gap, 2 gap. The whole 9 yards. It's pretty different. The philosophy, the techniques, it's 2 different systems. PG has his spin. Coach Butch has his spin. They both have what they want from their edge guys. And you kind of just got to bend and conform to the rules of the defense. So as a unit, we can execute the bigger picture. How has Patrick Graham and obviously Spence in your room helped you kind of, get going here and learn this system very quickly?
Just a combination of, just really kind of like walking me through it, but expecting me to get it. It's like that healthy balance between, helping guiding me through it, but giving me tough expectations, expecting me to be able to absorb the information.
Do you like that when the guys have high expectations for you and expect a lot from you?
I really don't think about it. It doesn't matter either way. Really, I come here with the same mindset. I'm just trying to get better every day. And that's really my mindset every day.
You mentioned it was similar to your junior year at Temple. That's the year where you had 13 sacks, right? Is it?
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about. Defensive Player of the Year, first team All-AAC, tied the school record for sacks. You had a blocked field goal that year. How much has that really helped you think, kind of fit in and give you confidence really to execute the type of assignments they're asking you to execute?
Yeah, really it's just really that comes from just I don't think that plays a part in it. It just comes from really within. You got to kind of come, at least that's my thing, is you got to come in with the same mindset regardless. And that'll affect how you play or how you absorb the information. And my big thing is I want to be better tomorrow than I was today, and I want to be better today than I was yesterday. And that's I'll always live my life by that mantra.
Where do you think you made the most improvement as you continue to try to get better?
I made the most improvement from when it comes to learning the defense, being stronger at the point of attack. I still have some improvement to go there. I still want to improve my pad level. There's things I want to improve in the pass rush game. But I really just understanding the defense, my steps, my vision, just small things. Playing with extension. And that was one of the biggest things when I first got here that the coaches, PG, used to be on me about, which still is just playing with the extension. Coach Scheer, he's always telling me, you don't play with enough extension.
Use your length, right?
Use your length, yeah. So that's one of the biggest things I try to work on is pad level, playing with extension. I'm just cleaning up the small things.
Now, we know how much Patrick Graham is concerned about stopping the run. Is that something you take pride in, your ability as a two-way player?
Absolutely. Over the last couple of years, I've made it my mission to, not being the biggest guy. A lot of people just automatically assume that, oh, you can't play the run. So I made it my mission, even for my senior year in college. I made it my mission to be able to stop the run first.
And a lot of that's effort, right? If you're just all-out hustle, always running to the ball, that's obviously technique's important, but that's a big part of it too, isn't it?
Yeah, the biggest thing in the run game is technique. You can hustle and get sacks, but you can't hustle and make plays in the run game. You got to know where the ball's going. You got to play with good pad level. You got to strike, and you got to move bodies. So it's really big. The run game is big, heavy technique.
You mentioned that junior year at Temple. Then you graduated. You decided, you know what? I want to play one more year. You went to Miami. How much do you think that helped you go into a little bit of a bigger conference, get you ready to come into the NFL here?
Tremendously. Being in the Miami environment helped me. Being around, being in a bigger conference helped me. Being in a bigger spotlight. The competition, playing against better competition. Some of the tackles that I played against last year are starting for some teams this year.
Of course.
Being around guys like Greg, like Jalen, who pushed me to get better. Being around, and I feel like Coach Diaz, having him be so supportive, that overall I feel like it helped me. It's one of the best decisions I made in my life. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
No, absolutely. We're getting ready for the draft last year, right? And everyone's, John, you got to go watch Rousseau. You got to watch Rousseau. I went to watch Rousseau, and I'm like, I'm trying to watch Rousseau. I keep watching this guy coming off the edge here at right end. And, I just was really impressed with the way you played. And frankly, I thought you had a really good chance of being a day 2 pick. When you dropped a little bit in the draft, did that give you a little bit of motivation? Like, you know what?
Absolutely.
These guys are missing something here?
Absolutely. Even to this day. I don't really get caught up in the draft thing. Everybody makes a big deal out of first round, second round, third round, fourth round. At the end of the day, today, none of that stuff matters.
You're wearing that jersey, right?
Whether you went in the first round, whether you went undrafted, you got undrafted guys in this league just killing it. You got first round draft picks who couldn't make it, who can't buy a play. So it really doesn't matter. It's all about your measurables and what they think about you. But I've always been a guy who kind of flew under the radar. Coming to Temple, going to Miami late, not being a Power 5 guy, falling in the draft, getting cut. It's kind of been the story of my life. And honestly, I feel right at home. So I wasn't surprised at all. But yeah, it's kind of just adding fuel to the fire.
Did getting cut loose by Pittsburgh catch you by surprise a little bit? Did you see it coming, or did it really catch you by surprise?
No, I understood the situation over there. Having their guys already in the fourth linebacker spot, basically being the special team spot.
Right. Good players over there too, right?
Yeah. Excellent players over there. And me just understanding that I had, and it's one of the things I had to work on here, becoming here is I just had to get better at special teams. To this day, I still want to get better at special teams. Excuse me. It's something that I didn't do a lot in college. But that's definitely I knew that special teams would be a big factor. I knew how I performed compared to the guys I was competing against. And so it really wasn't a secret. And I wasn't surprised, but it definitely helped me in my career. And I'm glad I went through this rookie year. So I know what it feels like. I've had that taste in my mouth.
Final 2 questions, I promise. You played basketball in high school. 2-time state champ, if I remember correctly. How much do you think basketball helped you become a better football player? Because I know, from someone that grew up playing different sports, I feel like different body movements can give you help cross sport, right?
Yeah. I like the footwork and some of it's a lot of similarities. Like, believe it or not, basketball and football, like from a footwork standpoint, I mean, it's the same thing. Like when you're talking about the steps and the drop step and the spin move and picking somebody.
And look, you're a power forward too, so you got to do leverage, boxing people out, the whole thing, right?
Boxing people out, being the lowest man, and so it's a lot of it's a lot of parallels. So yeah, it helped me a lot.
All right, finally, if I remember right, youngest of 7 children, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean for your family that you've kind of been able to achieve all this? And I'm sure during the bye week, I imagine you're going to go home and see him, right?
Yeah.
Just talk about that a little bit and everything you kind of went through growing up. I don't want to focus on it, but I know you had to deal with Tourette's and overcome that. Yeah. Just all that together. Now you're going to go home and you're here, man. You had a game-winning sack against the Raiders. And just what it's all like.
It's huge for my family. I feel like it would be like that for anybody in the NFL, though.
Of course.
Anybody's family would be proud that, you play football these years, you work, you dream, you go through trials and tribulations. But to make it to the NFL is a huge blessing. It's something that everybody here, even the people who work in the staff, can be proud that they get to be in an organization like this. So it's a huge accomplishment for anybody. I don't think my family's more proud of me than anybody else's family. But yeah, definitely. And I'm going home to see him today. I miss my fam.
Do you like New York? Have you gotten to the city yet, or no?
Yeah. I love it out here. I love it out here. It didn't take me long to get used to it out here. Right at home, I went to school about an hour and a half away.
Temple's not far, nope.
Exactly. This is right up my alley. And I love it here, and I hope to be here.
Well, we hope to have you. Quincy, this was great, man. I appreciate it. I know we went a little bit longer than you wanted to, but it was
that's cool.
Great interview. I really appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Quincy Roche, Giants edge rusher. We thank him for joining us on the Giants Huddle podcast. Enjoy your bye week, everybody. We'll see you next week as the Giants get ready to take on the Bucs.